Hey, what is going on, everybody? My name is Monotui, coach of the Tampa Bay Luxrays, and today I'm bringing you guys the first week of the Pokemon Premier League Season 6 for Division 1. So I'm very excited to bring you back PPL content. It's been a while. Last season went pretty well. We ended up 4th place, record of 7-4. I believe differential was like plus 10 or something along those lines. It was a pretty fun season, pretty good. I didn't necessarily like my team, but we were able to make it work relatively well. And now this season we are going up against a bunch of different coaches with hopefully a much better team. Especially, I'm not going to be doing a draft analysis. However, I will be dropping my my roster into this team builder, so it should be popping up on screen now. I think this is a very, very good team, much better than the team I had last season. As you can see, we have Lander Asterion, which is going to be my Z user, so we're already off to a very good start. Then we have Mega Pinsir, Tapu Fini, Kommo-o, Gengar, Magnezone, Sneasel, Mesprit, Rhyperior, Pyukumuku, which is also another Z user that I have. And then because we had 1 point left over, I decided to pick up Sunflora. I couldn't get anything better because when you have a price system, sometimes you're just going to have to end up with something like Sunflora on your team. But who knows, maybe it'll come in handy at one point. But regardless, that is going to be our roster, but of course we are going up against an opponent, and our opponent this week is going to be Colton of the Osaka Eevees, Shadow Gaming Hub. Cool guy. Definitely check out his YouTube link in the description below. And for a quick rundown of his team, it should be popping up on screen now as well. His team consists of Blacephalon, Garchomp, which is his Z user, Starmie, Scizor, Sylveon, Golbat, Mega Venusaur, Manectric, Scrafty, Ditto, and Regice. Ditto is also a Z user for whatever reason. And then we also have the Regice, which is a Z user. Regice makes a little bit of sense. Regice actually benefits greatly from Z moves, being able to run like Gigavolt Havoc or All-Out Pummeling, or just a stronger Ice move with Sub-Zero Slammer, so definitely makes it a threat there. It does have access to Rock Polish as well. So there's that. Without further ado, let us just get into the team of 6 that we will be bringing against him. That'll hopefully be able to deal with whatever team of 6 he decides to bring. So, starting off, we have our Sneasel. We're running a Choice Scarf, Sneasel, Knockoff, Icicle Crash, Pursuit, and Poison Jab. Jolly Max Speed with that Choice Scarf. This is largely to deal with the Blacephalon. Blacephalon, I think, is the biggest offensive threat to my team. You're going to see that this team is built around Double Dance Lander sweeping, or Swords Dance Lander sweeping, so if he does have that Blacephalon alive, it'll be able to check it. But regardless, Sneasel can check the things like the Starmie as well as that Blacephalon. Even if he is Scarf Blacephalon, I knock it out with a knockoff 100% of the time. After Rocks, knockoff will knock it out even without the even with a Colbur Berry, for example. If he is Colbur Berry, he doesn't have great knockoff switch-ins. Like obviously, I get rid of Golbat's Violite. If Ditto wants to switch in, I get rid of that thing's item. Same thing with Regice. He can go into his Mega Venusaur if he wants to, but I do have checks to the Venusaur, such as Mesprit and my Magnezone, which will be Assault Vest. I also do obviously have my Landers, which hits it very hard. Even Gengar hits it very hard. So Mega Venusaur isn't the biggest deal in the world to me. Also, he does have the Sylveon, but I am running Poison Jab to hit that thing. It won't be a 2-KO, but it will do a decent amount of damage. If he is actually Specs rather than physically defensive, it'll 2-KO. But regardless, if he switches it in on a knockoff, we're getting rid of that thing's leftovers, which is very important. And again, I do have my Magnezone to deal with that. Again, Pursuit is there just to potentially Pursuit trap things like the Starmie or Blacephalon if they do want to switch out versus me. We do also have, this thing does check Regice. Obviously, I live any hit bar Focus Blast, and I can knock that thing off, do a lot of damage to it, which is very good. I don't need to run Ice Shard because we are Scarf, which is kind of nice for me. And yeah, that's just going to be our Sneasel. If he's Scarf Garchomp, I'll outspeed it, knock it out with the Icicle Crash, which is very good as well. So that's just about it for the Sneasel. You know, as you can see, it puts in a lot of work for his team, and it does check a lot of the things that I need to deal with in order for my Landers to run through his team, like the Blacephalon and like the Starmie and whatnot. So that's going to be our Sneasel. Next up, we are going to have our Magnezone. As you can see, Thunderbolt, Flash Cannon, Volt Switch, and Hidden Power Fire. Relatively standard Magnezone with the Assault Vest. We are running this so that we can deal with the Scizor. We are running enough speed to outspeed an adamant Scizor, and we can trap it and hit it with an Hidden Power Fire, and potentially knock it out if he's bulky. If he's bulky, it may not knock him out, but it'll still be doing a lot of damage. If he's Akaberry, I'll be wasting that thing's item. If he's Shed Shell, then that means he's not Choice Band, which is much easier for me to deal with. So again, good for me. This thing also deals with the Sylveon with the AV. I take any hit easily. I'm more than likely going to outspeed it as well, unless he's running Timid with a lot of speed. I can take on the Mega Venusaur, assuming it is not an Earthquake variant. I can take on the Regice. I can take a Focus Blast, no problem. I can outspeed the Scrafty and Volt Switch out versus it. I deal with the Manectric, like Flamethrower Overheat will not be knocking me out. I deal with the Golbat very well. I deal with the Starmie very well. Garchomp does not want to switch in onto me, even though it does check me offensively. This is just a very good Pokemon versus this team. It deals with a lot. Once again, traps the Sizzlor, which is very big for things like my Landorus as well as my Sneasel. Even my Gengar as well. So, again, very good Pokemon versus this team. Traps the Sizzlor, deals with Sylveon, deals with a lot of things on his team. Next up, we are going to be going over our Gengar. Just a standard Life Orb set, for the most part, with Destiny Bond over another move. I was debating Sucker Punch over Destiny Bond just to hit the Blacephalon, but I like Destiny Bond a little bit better just in case I have trouble with things like the Mega Venusaur. Like, he was about to knock me out with Mega Venusaur, I can Destiny Bond, allow him to knock me out, and then, you know, it's a double down, and we get rid of Mega Venusaur, which will be really nice. Could potentially also be good for things like the, I don't know, things like the Garchomp. If I know I'm not going to be able to knock it out, I can let him knock me out with the Earthquake and allow it to be a double down rather than just me going down, which is pretty cool. So nothing too crazy here, just a Life Orb Gengar. It puts in a lot of work versus this team. Like, his Ghost Resist is, his only Ghost Resist is Scrafty, which is really good. Like, he obviously can't switch in Ditto against me, or else he'll be taking super effective damage. He does have Regice, which can take it on relatively well, but Regice isn't the biggest threat versus my team. Basically, it's just a monster versus this team. It checks so much, it deals with the Sylveon, it outspeeds the Garchomp. Nothing switches in on it. Nothing other than something like a specially defensive Golbat, and I do have other ways to take advantage of that. So that's going to be our Gengar. Next up, we have the big win condition of the team, and that is going to be our Double Dance Earth Plate Landorus. And as you'll see, the next Pokemon as well, Pyukumuku, will support this very, very well, but we're running Quake Edge, Swords Dance, Rock Polish. We're running Adamant with a lot of speed, some defense. Basically, with this amount of speed, after a Rock Polish, I will be able to outspeed everything on his team. Even with the Choice Scarf, like, I'll be able to outspeed Choice Scarfed Starmie after a Rock Polish, which is very important. And then at +2/+2, I sweep through the entirety of his team. There's absolutely nothing he can do. If he's running Ditto, which he might, it's not the biggest deal in the world, because, spoiler alert, I have Unaware on this Pyukumuku, so even if he copies my stats, he will not be able to 2-KO my Pyukumuku. If he's running, like, Flyinium Z on Ditto, expecting me to run Fly, he's going to be shit out of luck, because obviously I'm not running Fly, I'm running Quake Edge. And again, like, his entire team is hit by Earthquake neutrally, except for the Golbat, and the Golbat I hit super effectively with Stone Edge. So, at +2/+2, I just knock out every single thing on his team, and it's gonna be a fun time. I expect it to be a very fun time, because this is just such a huge threat to his team. And again, I do have good support for it with things like my Magnezone and things like my Pyukumuku. Speaking of Pyukumuku, we're going to be getting into it now. Again, this supports my Landorus beautifully. We are Darkinium Z with the Memento, so we will be able to Memento on something, get my Landorus back up to full health, and then potentially set up and win immediately. So, Toxic, Memento, Baton Pass, and Recover. Toxic is just obviously the Toxic, whatever wants to come in. I can't Toxic things like the Golbat or the Sizzlor, but it's not all that big of a deal. I can Baton Pass out versus them. Like, if Sizzlor comes in, I can take the hit and then Baton Pass out versus it, or I can just Memento it into my Landorus, which is going to be very useful. I don't really deal with things like the Mega Venusaur or the Manectric very well, but those are not the biggest threats to my team. As I've mentioned, I have several checks to them, and again, this Pyukumuku is mainly just there to click Z Memento and allow my Landorus an easier setup. Yeah, it is bulky, it is unaware, like I said, can deal with Ditto copying my stats for whatever, it can deal with an SD Sizzlor, and then I can Baton Pass out into something like my Magnezone in order to trap it. So again, just a great support Pokemon for this team, really helps out things like my Landorus. And then the last member of our team is going to be our Mesprit, and it's just going to be 3-attack Stealth Rock, kind of split F. I needed something to, like, hard counter Mega Venusaur, which is going to be this Mesprit, because Magnezone can switch into it, but it can't really 2-KO it unless I get split F drops. Mesprit, on the other hand, will be able to 2-KO it and deal with it very easily. This is also going to be my Stealth Rocker. I can get up rocks versus just about anything on his team. It deals with the Golbat, it deals with the Regice as well. I can just spam Psychic versus that thing and not take a lot of damage from the Ice Beam, which is going to be very important. Again, just another relatively good support Pokemon for the team. I have plenty of offense. I didn't really need any more damage dealing Pokemon. I needed something that can kind of take hits, get up Stealth Rock, as well as just make sure that it has the coverage so that nothing can set up on his team. Like, Garchomp can't set up anything. Starmie I 2-KO with the Shadow Ball, or at least do a lot of damage with. or at least do a lot of damage too. I checked the Mega Venusaur, I checked the Scrafty with the Dazzling Gleam, I checked the Blacephalon with the Shadow Ball, so it's meant to take hits, but it can deal out a little bit of damage, and again, its biggest job is just to get up rocks, so that the Regice and the Blacephalon are taking a lot of damage on switch-in, potentially force the Golbat to take a lot of damage as well as defog, so yeah, that's going to be our method. Thank you guys very much for watching, hope you all enjoyed. The match will be going up soon, and yeah, have a good day everyone.